Asia Uncut, brought to you by Electronic Arts and Crown Relocations.
My next guest is a record collector, a record label owner. He's helped the careers of countless artists, from Erykah Badu through to Jamiroquai. He's been mentioned in dispatches as the new John Peel, and he hosts one of the world's most influential radio shows. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gilles Peterson. Hello, Gilles.
How are you?
Welcome to our lovely capsule. Welcome to my above-ground lair.
Absolutely. This reminds me of London.
It should.
We have one here. Was this before the London Eye? Or?
No, it was after. They totally knocked you off, but they made it higher. 165 meters.
Is it faster though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
You want us to pop the rubber band?
Put the accelerator on. I think.
Really
Yeah, I want to get flying.
We could be
it's
out of
flyer.
here. I want to talk a little bit about launching these careers. So that's big. Jamiroquai, big old global name. Erykah Badu.
Sure. Well, I didn't launch Erykah Badu, but I mean, obviously, I was very much behind her, and she's a friend of mine, and she's very avant-garde in her approach. Amy Winehouse is another one who, you know, I first played on the radio as a demo. Lily Allen, actually.
Wow.
So there's certain artists that, you know, they don't really get an opening apart from people like myself. So, you know, I can get the early credit. When they blow up, it's always really good to see, you know, bands like the Gotown Project, 07, Basement Jacks, all these kind of groups. A lot of them, they start off very left field, and then they become so huge you never remember that they were left field to start off with. You know, that's the sort of development of music, and it's great from my point of view just to see them grow.
So when you listen to that and you hear those new sounds, how do you know instinctively?
Well, I think it's like anything. If you're a fan of music, and you know, I'm sort of at the front line of music, so you know, I can tell usually when someone's coming along with something fresh. I mean, sometimes it's a beat, sometimes it's the arrangement of the song, sometimes it's a voice, and when it's all of those things put together, then you know that it's going to be a big hit.
But the other cool thing is you have all these older retro tracks that also seem to inspire a lot of work that you do and other
Sure.
DJs.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways of getting your music now, of course. I mean, I think radio is, you know, there's less and less places where you can really hear great stuff, I think. I mean, that's why one of the reasons the BBC is still kind of very much, at the forefront. I'd started off my radio career actually in my parents' garden shed when I was like 16 years old. I had a little transmitter where my train set used to be. My father used to take me up to a certain point in London where there was a high point in Epsom Downs, and we used to broadcast from there, take phone calls from the telephone box. And 10 years later, I managed to get onto the national station, which was a brilliant sort of, you know, development for me. I got into the BBC Radio 1, actually on after John Peel, and I've been on there ever since.
So you've created many different labels. And why does that happen? Here, there. What's the difference in emphasis between acid jazz, Talking Loud, and Brownswood Records?
It kind of really sort of, you know, represents the times of the music industry and how things have changed. I mean, I started off setting up my own record label, which was called Acid Jazz, extremely independent, very much influenced by labels like Stiff Records from back in the day in the UK. Then after a while, I got a bit fed up of sort of, you know, being broke all the time, so I managed to hook up with Universal. We did groups like Represent, who won a Mercury Prize, people like the Young Disciples, Incognito, all groups like that. And then I got tired of that, and I wanted to put records out again, so I went back to where I'd started in my flat, putting out records independently. So in a way, that kind of tells you a little bit about the sort of the state of the music industry for independent people over the last 20 years.
But the music industry, you touched on it, it got rocked. It totally got rocked by the digital age.
Yeah.
And it no longer exists the way it did.
Absolutely not. In a way, it's good though. I think the big record companies, they weren't really allowing too much room for up-and-coming bands to come along. They just become obsessed by selling more Dire Straits records or more Metallica records, and there wasn't really a lot of room. So I think that now it's a much better place for new groups to come through. They can find their feet much easier, I think.
You were fired from a jazz FM station.
There was a big anti-war march happening in Hyde Park, and I just told my listeners to go to Hyde Park with their radios and listen to my show whilst being on the Peace March.
And then what'd you do? Did you just like tell them to go revolt?
Well, no, I just told them to go on a Peace March.
That was it?
Yeah, that was all.
And they tossed you out for that?
Absolutely.
So was that a bit jarring? Did you have to tone it down a bit?
Well, I left. Well, in a way, I think, you know, it was just important that I made my comment at that point, and I moved on, and you know, that jazz station ended up going bust, so I made the right move.
Right on. That's totally. So did that lend itself to your notoriety?
Maybe.
That leads
Maybe,
the
yeah.
fact that you
Certainly.
were this rebellious guy?
Yeah, absolutely. It works at a certain point in your career, doesn't it?
You've got your own festival, so we're
Yes.
going to talk about that. The
Yeah.
Gilles Peterson
Yeah.
World Music Festival?
Yeah, it's the Worldwide Festival.
Worldwide Festival.
Yeah, and it's not really world music. A lot of people think, you know, worldwide world music, but really it's more about the global cultural phenomenon that's been happening over the last 15, 20 years. You know, what music that I play, which is a very important part of my identity, especially in the clubs. It's a kind of mixture of electronic music, black urban music, and a bit of, you know, a lot of old school stuff as well. That's how I mix it up. And there's been DJs all around the world that have sort of taken that concept and sort of taken it further. So it's not just about going to clubs and listening to trance music. And we're kind of trying to throw that philosophy out to the people and sort of really sort of motivate DJs and music lovers, because, you know, music and going to clubs, sometimes the music isn't as important, you know, and it's important that the music takes first place again, which is the whole idea about this festival.
And what do you think of shows like American Idol?
My
Are these
kids-
good
my-
things, and Pop Idol?
Yeah,
obviously?
yeah, you know, I mean, I think in one way it's kind of good that music's still there somehow, and I find it quite sort of humorous at times, but I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if that's all it is, you've got to see the other side. It's important that the other side of you know, that the other side is covered somehow. So, you know, we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, people are going to get tired of this format, and it might get deeper.
Yeah.
You never know, so we'll see.
Where do you go to next? What's next? Where do
Actually,
you
next for
play?
me is Cuba. I'm making an
Cuba?
album. Yeah, I'm going to be going
Cool,
over
is
there
that?
in a couple of weeks' time. I'm recording an album with some musicians there. Lots of rappers. There's a really great hip hop scene and reggaeton scene, and basically making an album over there, which is going to come out on my label in September. So Havana Cultura, 2009.
I like that, Havana Cultura. So where's your favorite spots in Asia?
I'd say the best place in possibly the world for me is Japan. Well, they have so much passion for the music and the culture. So when you DJ, you know, people really know about the music, so they kind of test you out. It's a brilliant place to go, and everything's done so perfectly there. The sound is great, the people really look after you. So it's kind of DJ's nirvana going to Tokyo and Japan. So luckily I go there a lot.
So Giles, does your influence extend to young women as well as young men? And exactly how young are they?
Well, you know, I'm not sure about the age, but I do find that to actually bring the ladies in, I tend to play a lot of Brazilian music. That tends to work to make sure that my clubs aren't full of just geeky guys.
Samba! Is it a samba
Absolutely.
thing?
It always works. Anything Latin, anything sort of samba, bossa nova, you know, a little bit of that. I mean, you know, in a way, how I play my sets as well is I tend to sort of mix it up a lot and, you know, go through different shades, colours, flavours, rhythms. You know, that's one of the things about listening to Gilles Peterson in a club set. One minute you might be in a sort of, you know, you never get two the same.
Gilles Peterson.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do to me?
I'm going to thank you. I'm going to thank you.
Thank you.
Having met you, brought a certain amount of street cred that we have never had on this show.
Great.
Is it? We the one and only, the famous, the world famous, worldwide, Gilles Peterson here at the festival, BBC Radio. Thank you very much for being on Asia Uncut.
Absolute pleasure.
Great pleasure meeting
Yeah.
you. Now, the problem we've been having today is exiting. So
Yes.
we've either had to kind of throw people off, have them jump off, but we're going to let you rappel.
Okay, you got a parachute?
No, but you, if you just kind of, you know, strap that on.
Okay.
We'll take this a little bit. But before you do that,
Yeah.
I did want to say that right here, we've got, as a final test of
Yeah.
your eclecticism
Oh,
and
lovely.
our appreciation,
Beautiful.
one of our favorite groups of
Me
all
too.
time. Really?
Can I have it?
You can have it.
Yeah, man.
Dude, you gonna play it?
I
You
love
gotta
them.
play it.
I can't go for that. Is that on there?
Yeah, it is. It's right there.
Brilliant.
You make my dream come true.
Beautiful.
Huh? It's all
Classic.
yours.
And it's all about the moustache.
Yeah.
We should grow one.
We can do that.
Yeah.
You want to be that guy? I'll be him.
No, yeah, okay.
Okay. We can do that. Now, don't
Thank
bang
you.
it on your way out of here.
I won't. I'm going to keep that. Thank you very much.
Giles and Peterson, Asia Uncut.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be back more after this.
Okay, I'm jumping out, yeah?
Yeah, you're jumping. Good luck. Rappel
right.
your way down.
Asia Uncut, brought to you by Electronic Arts and Crown Relocations.